the minutes, this thing, I think you've got it there. It's the old one that we signed up years ago.
I don't have it yet.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah, there it goes there. Okay, and just to go through these points, because I think these will cover most of the things that we'll have problem with in the future.
Okay.
The ones that are irrelevant, we leave alone. Okay, so this one is going to be still clear red and our transport, or we're now taking that away, we're dealing with me specifically. You say you want to deal with me, Andre Snyman, and
Yes.
not our Transco.
Yeah.
Not our transport.
Yes.
Okay, so we take this agreement, we say what you're doing now is you're dealing with me, okay? We can always go into a situation where I say I need the payments of maybe because I still want to integrate this into my, but at the moment it's a deal between you and me.
Okay, let's go through it.
Between, not you and me, between Transco
Yeah.
and me. Okay, preambles. Whereas the parties are entered into a mutual agreement where they both save costs by serving each other, and I think this is important. Why we put this in our tender. That's why we went into this agreement in the beginning. Okay. Whereas the parties of entering into a mutual agreement whereby they both save costs by serving each other's companies, an agreement that Transco will deliver all our transport customers on their behalf according to normal practices by Sumitomo Tyres. Okay, so that will change slightly, but the principle is there. That is why we went into it for initially, is because you wanted to utilize my stuff and we could put the trucks together. Remember that one?
The old agreement, yeah.
Whereas each party is operated presently in specified areas, okay, which is the areas above, which is fine, which we will get to now. Whereas both Transco and our transport are distributors of our tyres, so this is now going to go into. I'm going to eventually say, look, Transco is now taking over. Basically, I'm moving into your business, basically.
Yes.
So all the business and everything that the service level agreement will be signed with Transco,
Yeah.
not with me.
Yes.
That's where we're going. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then behind the scenes between us,
Behind the
joint
scenes-
venture between Transco and our transport.
We have a joint venture, so I will relinquish my powers basically to the service level agreement with Dunlop, because I no longer am going to be basically contracting to them, because you're going to be taking over that area
As the principal.
as a principal.
Yes.
Is that how we want to look at it? Because then I don't basically even have to go to meetings anymore at Dunlop,
I
because
need to brief you if things
you need to
changes.
brief me, you need to give me minutes, you need to give me updates on anything that happens. You're going to give me a daily route sheet thing on areas.
Yeah.
The other thing is when the billing gets done, you would bill from your area,
Yeah.
from you to there.
We'll create it a separate invoice with it will be a Transco entity that will invoice, but we will create a separate invoice to keep those monies apart, like we discussed with the bank
Yes,
account.
and that goes into a separate bank account,
Yeah.
of which I will have access to and you will have access to.
Yes.
And then payments will go through as the money comes in. The splits will happen and get paid like normal.
Yeah, you will have access to the bank account. We will have access to the bank account. The profile can be loaded, so you can see exactly what's going on with the account and when Dunlop has paid.
And they only
then,
two, and I'll get
I'll send
SMSs coming through and all of
I'll
this kind
send
of
you
stuff.
a schedule.
And that's going to be
what's
open
been
up
paid,
in your name, in Transco's name.
Transco's name.
Okay?
Then you'll receive a schedule, like a remittance, what's going to be paid, with accompanied by the recon, and we do it
Okay.
once a week.
Once a week.
Yes.
Whereas both parties in agreement that they will not in any way compete with each other in respect of their existing customers or prescribed areas, and the agreement is purely for transport purposes to facilitate the transport of tyres to the customers or each respective. That is the contract we have at the moment. Obviously that will change.
Yes.
Okay, because that agreement will change. Because right now the agreement that is adhering is the old one. Okay, let's go. That one will change. Okay, we've been through that. Whereas the parties have agreed to transport each other's tyres on the following terms and conditions. Whereas the fundamental purpose of this agreement is to allay fears. This is what the fundamental thing that we started years ago. And whereas the fundamental purpose of this agreement is to allay fears by both parties of losing each other's respective customers or prescribed areas to each other, given the unique combination of the two parties, who are in essence in opposition to each other. It is therefore inherently understood that neither will accept deliveries to each other's customers or prescribe current areas, regardless of any future requests or pressure from current customers, e.g. Dunlop or Goodyear or whatever. It is further understood that Sumitomo, whereas the existing company is bought or undertaken over by any holding company, the arrangement remains intact. Okay, so that means if Dunlop sells to Sumitomo, sells to some other guy, and we're still doing their business, this continues as long as we're doing business with Dunlop.
Correct.
Okay. If you sell the business to somebody else, that my sale must be compensated.
Correct.
By that. I mean, you can't sell for 100 million rand and incorporated in that is my Dunlop business, and that obviously pushes up the value of your property, and then you say I don't do Dunlop anymore, but the other is doing Dunlop. So right now this is your company doing Dunlop, and that's the turnover that we're talking about.
Correct.
Okay, so we agree with that. Whereas the holding company exercises a sell-off for such company, whereas it contains to sell Sumitomo products, continues to deliver. Okay, that I'm going to say 1.6.2 we agree on. I don't have to read all of this shit because it will take us forever, but it's basically there. Sumitomo products continues to deliver the parties' respective areas with conserved fundamental and the additional business for both parties. That's waffle kind of stuff. You want to read through it?
Yeah.
Okay, read it. Because it's a lot for me to read this rubbish from there. Whereas the holding company exercises a sell-off such new company where it continues to sell Sumitomo products and continues to deliver to the parties' respective areas will be considered as fundamental to the additional business of both parties. I'm not so sure what that means, but anyway. Okay,
I'll have to study that.
That 6.1 point, I think basically what they're trying to say here, which is I think is, I don't know why this thing is going like, what they're basically saying here is that if the one company sells, what we've just been talking about now, one company sells and it comes up with a new name, like you bought Carl now, and Carl comes in and all of a sudden Carl can do all sorts of things like, let's say Carl is now under some fictitious name and it's not under Transco because it's bought in one of Isaac's deals in Mexico, and he comes and tenders for the business, but you're still running the business. So it's still part of the deal. So that's basically your entity, Isaac's entity, anything that's still controlled and run by you guys is regarded as you.
Yeah.
So if you sell to Carl, you say, oh, but you got an agreement with me, but Carl.
Okay,
so basically I think that's what it says. Okay.
All right.
All service delivery inquiries of customers belong to either our transport or Transco will be directed solely and exclusively to the transporter. Branding both transporters remained intact, etc. Okay, these things are all fine to me. Any member, related member, employee, or any person involved in anything with Transco may not set up business under another name given by any other means excluded. So this is what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Whatever decisions are made by Sumitomo Tyres, whatever nature, whether they concern distribution areas, price, IT, point, will in no way influence or alter the agreement made by Transco. And so in other words, whatever they decide, it still doesn't make any difference to us.
Yeah.
We carry it on like that. That's the way we've been operating for 10 years. The obligation of the party, both Transco and the transporter tyres, which other area were fully described and scheduled here under. And then sending me emails. Okay. Both parties shall ensure that the proof of delivery of that's PODs stuff. Both parties shall enter the tyres in a safe manner and shall ensure the property maintained. That's okay. The parties shall observe legal requirements, whatever relating to the conduct of the business. Fine. I don't know why I'm having problems with this. The parties shall furthermore not distribute or involved in opposition of any service in whatever nature is deemed to be in competition with any other party more particularly while serving an existing customer of another party, apart from the stated purpose of the agreement as contained in the preamble above. We've discussed that. If special requests are received from existing clients for return or reasonable PR pro obligation shall be carried out free of charge. That's the returns we're talking about.
Yes.
These are the prices, the fixed pricing that we had, but obviously these prices have changed through the years.
Yeah, that paragraph will change.
Yeah. Our transport will make weekly payments to Transco and successful reconciliation of both parties. All costs incurred by parties shall regard insurance. That will fall away.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I understand that agreement, that we can go through it, but I think we need to rewrite that.
We will rewrite it. So
Yeah.
we're going to take this and we're going to rewrite the contracts there. But
Yeah.
there's
What I
certain.
suggest is,
Yeah.
for the first step, what we do is that we looked at the points that we discussed in the past meetings that we had.
Okay. What are those points?
Okay, can we go through it?
Yeah.
First was the joint venture between Transco and our transport. It was discussed between ourselves that it will benefit both parties and protect our interest to consider a JV tender to Sumitomo. Transco will hand in the tender accompanied. Okay, it will be now our transport will hand in a tender with a JV tender with Transco, with a letter from our transport. It would be wise to hand in a consolidated letterhead with the JV tender as Transco being the leading partner. So I can send that to you tomorrow and you can read it if you're happy.
Okay.
then you need to-
What do you think? Why don't we just do it with Transco and me stating in the letter will be the same thing. Stating
We have to approach this together. Or
no,
else-
we
or
can
else-
we can do it together.
But if Dunlop's look at it, I'm just playing it safe. If they see in our Transco letterhead, but you didn't tender, they will see it like that. So it must be big and bold.
So I'll put in there. This is my tender. These are the requirements, because what they need there are the requirements of my trucks. They
Yeah.
need requirements of whatever they need. So those requirements no longer are necessary for me because your company has got it.
I'll provide you with everything that you need.
So basically, whatever your company, the BE status, I've got BE, but I don't know if it's as good as your BE. I just say, so I'm going in with you as
Joint venture.
a joint venture,
Using Transco as a principal.
using Transco as a principal,
Correct.
and we're plugging in there as that.
So the cover page will be sorted. I'll hand you all documentation that you need, everything that you need. And then you need to submit the rates. The rates will be on that schedule as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and then and then the questionnaire that needs to be answered. So I can formulate a draft for you, so long that you can read through and see that you are happy with it. And then the last page, the schedule of the rates, needs to be submitted as well. That will come from you. I don't have that.
Okay.
All right. Then we can answer that. We can hand you the tender before next week Tuesday. Maybe on Friday we
On
can
Friday we should actually have it all ready.
the parcel and then send it off.
And we both basically open that letter, we check through it, we close it up, and we send it together.
Correct. But
And
just,
we can email it, so we can CC email. They said we can email it as well.
yeah, it's going to be a big draft. It's going to be a big document as well because the vehicle's details needs to be shown, the driver's licenses needs to be shown. So it's going to be a thick document like this. I don't know how you're going to send that through via email or compress it down or whatever.
Okay, well
I think send a hard copy through.
we send a hard copy. Doesn't matter.
And then
but-
we keep a copy each. So if we speak out of the same voice. There's no hidden agendas. Then secondly, we agreed now on the 20%.
20%.
Yes.
Yes.
From the day the tender is
And
done.
any increases doesn't matter. It's still on the turnover.
Yes.
20%.
Yes.
Okay, and that's like it. We invoice out there. They have X amount. You pay me that amount.
Yes.
20% of the full turnover.
Yes.
Done. And that continues until 6 months after I die.
3 months. You ask for 3 months.
So I asked for 3 months.
Yes.
My wife's going to be so upset today. 6 months.
3 months. We agreed upon 3 months.
Then we agree upon 3 months.
Yeah, point number 5, the transfer, and we discussed the matter whereby Andre will be earning his proposed percentage. That will be now 20%. 30 passes on.